This conference will now be recorded.
I can hide it also.
2 more minutes actually, then we start.
Yeah.
So guys, welcome to my series, AhmadTech Talk series. So today I'm thrilled to announce Sandip Das, a powerful senior cloud and DevOps engineer with a rich background spanning over 12 years, I think, in the industry. And Sandeep is a true luminary in the tech world, recognized as a cloud and DevOps top voice on LinkedIn. And he is also AWS container hero, and he is also distinguished HashiCorp ambassador for 2024. So with a passion for teaching and sharing knowledge, Sandeep has captivated over 1 lakh tech enthusiasts through his engaging YouTube channel. So he is your go-to guru, I can say, for in-depth tutorial training sessions and career opportunities in programming, cloud, and DevOps. So Sandeep's expertise is in many fields, and today we are honored to have Sandeep here. So he will share his inside experiences and best practices with all of us. So, with further ado, let's dive into the world of cloud with Sandeep. Yes, welcome, brother.
Thank you, Ahmed. It's nice to be here and to the audience also. Yeah.
Yeah, my first question is, can you briefly describe about yourself and your journey in the cloud, DevOps, and other technologies?
Definitely. So I think one thing is going to surprise, I think most of the viewers that actually I have a non-tech background. So I'm actually a
Okay.
BCom graduate. Then suddenly I realized, I'm more into tech. So I started like, while doing the MCA, I started doing software development. I started as a software developer, okay, so PHP development. Then then JavaScript, then Node.js, which is part of JavaScript anyway. Then Python, Go, and now I'm working in the Rust also. And while working in the backend development projects, I got the requirement to work on the cloud, DevOps, and see, suddenly I become a cloud and DevOps engineer. So with over 12 years of experience, I have the background of full kind of a very solid background of software development and application development, plus the cloud and DevOps technologies tools
Mhm.
and the production level knowledge. So that's I can
Okay.
represent to all you guys.
Okay. Thank you. So my question is, what inspired you to specialize in AWS, and what are some of the key benefits you have seen in using AWS for cloud developments
So
deployment? Sorry.
yes, yeah, sure. So what happened, it was a requirement. I was not even aware there is a AWS exist in the market, or there is a field
Okay.
called cloud application, say cloud engineer or say DevOps engineer. So I was working in a backend application in Node.js, and clients say,
Mhm.
okay, we are hosted in the droplets. And then in DigitalOcean that time. Okay, I'm talking about the year 8 years or 9 years back. So client is the
Mhm.
requirements, you are not able to scale. The clients are coming up, the site getting slower, and people
Mhm.
complaining a lot. We should work on the scaling. And now I got in worried, okay, where to scale, where to scale. I search into Google and find out, okay, AWS is the that time in the leader, even now also leader in
Yes.
cloud deployment and all that. And if you want scaling, that's the way to go. So that's how I got introduced to AWS. Now there's a
Okay.
learning journey, of course. So I go to different groups. I did a lot of courses in Udemy, YouTube, and whatnot. That whatever I got available, even cloud guru, then there is Linux Academy, everywhere. Wherever I get chance, I
Mhm.
learn and do all that. And
Mhm.
what happened, that's magical. So as a freelancer, look, I was working as a freelancer. People don't know that I'm actually a full-time freelancer from last 10
Mhm.
years. And
Mhm.
what happened that even see, I'm working the back end, I'm getting paid for that. Now for
Mm,
additional cloud and DevOps works, I also getting
mm,
extra what hours get paid.
okay.
So for me, the
Okay.
motivation was, of course, the client has a requirement to deploy and scale the application. I had to do that, and they are
Mm,
paying me for the additional stuff, for like
mm,
deployment, scaling, cloud implementation, all that. So that what fueled
mm,
me. Okay, learn something new, AWS, and make us more scalable, more kind of a highly available application. And
mm,
AWS have all the tools that you need to do that. So be it
mm,
auto scaling, be it your load balancer, be it
mm,
monitoring all the systems. Even these days, all container solution, Kubernetes,
mm,
everything, all the solution AWS offers. So that's the way to go. For me to like anything I recommend I have, most cases is got
mm,
fulfilled in the AWS itself. That's
okay.
what I almost used.
Okay. Thank you. So can you share some best practices for optimizing cost in while maintaining performance and scalability?
Sure, sure. So while okay, first thing first, if you're thinking about scalability itself, make sure the application is scalable. So it's not like
Okay.
it's magically your application got scaled. So first and foremost, optimize the application as much as you can. Now let's come to
Mm-hmm.
the point: how can you optimize the cost? Now there are many ways. Okay, I will always start with the reserve instances and the say there is a reserve instance savings plan. What happens there? So, for example, you are running your application for more than 5, 6 months, even 1 year. Okay, you know the usage pattern, how many instances you
Yeah.
need, how many
Yes. Yes.
when the spike happen, all that, right? So why not you go and reserve the instances? What happened if you go and reserve your instances? Then
Mm-hmm.
you can get a I think discount up to 70%. Or just wow, I mean, you can reduce your cost to 70% on that.
Okay.
And if you're not so sure that okay, you can have a variable, usage data and all the spikes will happen, then either separately you can have a savings plan, or in a combination with the reserve instances you
Mm,
can go with the savings plan. Both combined can save you up to 80% of the cost. I can guarantee on that. But
okay.
if you optimize and use that well, that's the point one. Now, for example, if you have say sometime one of instances, why that you need it for maybe 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, or maybe some certain job, maybe running small jobs, then for those
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, running a full instance or full virtual machine is very costly. Instead of using
Mm-hmm.
that, use the there's a thing called the uh, you can say unused that reserve unused virtual machine by AWS called a spot instance. Okay, so those
Mm-hmm.
spot instances you can wait for it as low as possible, of course, and then you can use that. And once you're done, terminate that. That way you can save up to 90% of the cost. Okay, but these are all the savings plans, all those things, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you're already doing all this, still you are getting
Mm,
big bill, then you have to
yeah.
actually think that you might be overusing your resources. Of course, you should
Okay.
have a auto scaling, then optimize the auto scaling. If you don't have auto scaling, then leave everything else. First, you focus on the auto scaling. So after the auto
Okay.
scaling is there in place, make sure they have proper policies. Say it's not like when the CPU reach 20%, you're going to scale. No, when the CPU reach
Mm,
max to max 70% or 80%, then only do the scaling. And when the CPU going below 5%, of course, auto terminate
mm,
that. So those kind of policies has to be there. Now,
okay.
not just limit to that, you should have,
Mm,
for example, unused EBS volumes, unused snapshot, unused
mm,
ELV IPs. I mean, like not the elastic load balancers only, but elastic IPs.
mm,
So all those
mm,
unused things actually are big bills that often get
okay.
unnoticed, but they contribute towards using the billing. Okay, that also you should, if it's not required, delete that. That will
Okay.
save you cost. Addition to that,
Okay.
there's a hidden cost in Amazon or any cloud. Okay, every cloud have a
Mhm.
hidden cost. I call it as a
Okay.
data cost. Okay, what happened?
Okay.
You're thinking I'm downloading 10 GB, 20 GB, 30 GB, all fine, but no. For every GB
Mm,
of the download and all that, you're going to get cost. Okay, so
okay.
when you are planning services, when you're architecting services, make sure you
Mhm.
utilize the private services, private calling, so that see if it's the data going out to the internet, you will have cost. Okay, but
Mhm.
even many people don't know that even it's inter-region data transfer, then also
Okay.
cost. So make sure the
Okay.
application you're hosting, the service you're utilizing in the
Mhm.
same region if possible to reduce the cost. And there are many ways. Okay, but
Okay.
this thing is that when you're planning, make sure you utilize
Mhm.
that properly. It can reduce the cost.
Okay.
And there is the
Okay.
final point I will tell. That is the
Mhm.
say, don't give free access to everybody. Okay, if the people
Okay.
get free access to everything, they will create unnecessary resources. So make sure
Mhm.
whoever actually need it, you give the access to him, and that access, that person is responsible for that. then only
Mm,
the resource utilization can be optimized. See, if you remember
okay.
all those things, it will be a very good way to optimize the cost.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
No
So
problem.
my next question is because we know that on cloud security is very important, right? So how do you approach security and compliance consideration when you are architecting solutions on AWS? So what is your experience in that?
Definitely. So, AWS have white papers. Okay, what are the white papers? You should go to AWS and search in the Google AWS white papers,
Mm,
and you will surprised to see how many resources are available for that. And one of the
okay.
jewel on that is the AWS security lens. What I'm
Okay.
going to tell you now is actually all from that, and that I and every good architect follow that one, so that they can
Mhm.
properly build secure applications, secure infrastructure there. Now, what are the things?
Okay.
The very start from the very basic stuff. When you're creating a root account, make sure that root
Mhm.
account have a MFA is there, multi-factor authentication. Make sure
Okay.
that no other people have the access to the particular root account, and anybody
Mhm.
that require access to your AWS resources must have a
Mhm.
separate IAM account, must have a
Mhm.
MFA there also enabled, must have a say a resource like say it not be like anybody can use any services. No, if the person
Mhm.
required only EC2, just give the EC2 and whatever additionally required services access. Similarly, if a database engineer is there, should have only the RDS access or maybe a DynamoDB access. So all those
Mhm.
policies also you have to optimize while creating and assigning access to any IAM user or any developer. Okay,
Okay.
that is there. Now, in particularly AWS, okay, if you're
Mhm.
thinking about running a non VM, let's say a VM also, for example, that you're running a container workload. So make
Okay.
sure the container solution also you're working on. Maybe it's a Kubernetes you're going to run
Mhm.
your application on. The image that you're going to run, that image
Mhm.
has to be properly scanned, properly
Okay.
verified, then only run
Okay.
those images. Okay. Now,
Okay.
in technological world, there are
Mhm.
many policies, many standards. For example, I think you earlier, HIPAA is there, SOC2 is there. The
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
that. There are many policies. So if your organized or PCIe also company is there, so there are many compilers. Make sure your company, if it think to adapt of all that, that will be even better.
Mhm.
So while adapting those policies, you're actually kind of you kind of also mastering all that. Okay, that is one
Okay.
important. Okay,
Mhm.
and I mean also that that's part of the process, right? And you're optimizing things, you're making sure that
Mhm.
you're even if there is a loose end, there is a problem that will get
Mhm.
optimized. Okay, in terms of security. Now, uh, what happened? There are access we assign, we create, and you forget to change the access keys. You forget to change the basic things. Now, there is a policy which is a very good policy to keep
Mhm.
changing your security keys or kind of rotate them each, say,
Mhm.
90 days max to max. Okay, that's another good
Okay.
policy to have. Now, just
Okay.
like this, there are many policies, but what I'm saying that it's not only the responsibility of a say security engineer, DevOps engineer, cloud engineer to do that. It's a collaborative kind of uh, responsibility to everyone. Say you're sharing access to someone else, okay? It's also that person responsibility to not misuse that particular access. So those kind of restriction, those kind of policies has to be there in the organization as well. So all and
Okay.
all together, you should have a proper policy framework that everybody should maintain to make sure the
Okay.
security implementation is proper in your organizations.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So my next question
Welcome.
is for development. So how do you define DevOps and why it is important in modern software development?
So, say DevOps is a very vast term. Okay, many people actually only think of it as automation. No, it's not automation. Many people think it's the CI/CD. No, it's not just the CI/CD. Many people think about the scripting. This is not only scripting. It's a
Mhm.
combination of all and everything that can help a product
Mhm.
to build, release to customer faster and get a feedback quickly, so you can keep in that loop. So develop, then
Okay.
release, get the feedback, and
Mhm.
improve. So this is a
Mhm.
good loop that he has to be. So ultimate goal of this loop is to release product
Mhm.
faster, makes the everything smoother, and that
Mhm.
thinks of both development and operation. That's why the DevOps, right? So it's a
Mhm. Yeah.
thinking that both team is there and operation team is there. Make a smoother kind of link between them. So what is the kind of goal of developer to build things, but they don't like to test things. Okay, so a developer is good at building things, but they hate to test things. But we have to make sure that solution they're developing, it's not buggy. Of course, it's going to be bugs, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we, as a DevOps engineer, you have a responsibility to make sure automatically sniff out the issues that before going to release to customer, because customer using a buggy for service or buggy feature, they complain that's
Mm-hmm.
bad. But if you can find out
Yeah.
before it go to release to the customer, that's the important. Okay, and
Okay.
how this kind of going to help you? Very simple. First thing you have to think about in a development, once the developer or coder making a changes, that has to get tested properly, and that's why you have a
Mm-hmm.
CI/CD. What is CI/CD test?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a continuous integration where any
Mm-hmm.
developer making a source code change, that change has to
Mm-hmm.
get automatically unit tested. That code
Mm-hmm.
should be automatically integration tested, and then there is
Mm-hmm.
a should be a build out of there. The particular code changes. That build has to
Mm-hmm.
go to a staging server, and QA has to verify the change. Then
Mm-hmm.
upon approval only it should go to the continuous delivery, or say you must have 5, 10, 20,000, how many, whatever
Mm-hmm.
instances you have or whatever application copy you're running, the code has to go everywhere. Okay, all this
Okay.
process a DevOps engineer has to do, but it's not limited to that. A DevOps engineer also have to make sure any problem happening, root cause it, but they do a root cause analysis. The
Mm-hmm.
feedback they receive, the error, the bug, whatever it is, the logs should be
Mm-hmm.
forwarded to the developer and help assist them whatever is possible, so that again they will make change. Again, that code will get tested, and of course, if the fix is good, if not, then they have to again repeat the process. So, and
Mm-hmm.
again, it's not just only to the limited to the coding or development on that. It's as the operation side
Mm-hmm.
also, right? So the link between, there's an operation team happening, there's a DevOps, I mean, dev team. The communication also has to be maintained. And so, for example, how these two teams communicate, maybe by Slack, for example, or maybe by Teams. So if any issue happening, you should have kind of automation, whatever tools you're using for kind of communication. There,
Mm-hmm.
the issue has to be posted with the reasonings. I'm giving a very
Okay.
simple example, but that has to be there. There has to be a tool of communication. There has to be automation where they can
Mm-hmm.
see, like all the team members can see the what issue happening and fix it and collaborate. Because without collaboration, a team cannot function properly. So we have to
Yes.
collaborate. We have to fix things. We have to release faster. And DevOps engineers, his job is to primarily do whatever it is required, be it infra as a code, be it configuration automation, be it the scripting, be it automation, everything, whatever you need to do it to make sure we are getting released faster and have a communication loop. Okay, that's
Okay.
the main DevOps thing. It's not just one
Okay.
thing, but combination of multiple
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot for detailed
things.
explanation. So,
Sure.
what is your point if suppose company or organization is adopting DevOps? So, what are the challenges they will face and how they will overcome on these challenges? If you have any example, so please
Sure.
can you
So
share?
what happens? What I've seen so far is that if an organization is new to these terms and they're new to this all these methodologies, people are not used to it, right? If you suddenly say do DevOps things, I say what is DevOps?
Mm-hmm.
How to do it? So they need proper training first. So train them. If you want to introduce a cloud DevOps and any methodologies, first train
Mm-hmm.
your internal engineer, internal people, so they get
Mm-hmm.
accustomed to it. Then only they will be willing to integrate the DevOps solution or methodologies there. So first thing is
Mm-hmm.
there is not enough training things are there. So training has to be there first thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you have to make sure that there will be challenges, okay, and if the challenges is you're able to solve is good, but if you're not, be open to hire dedicated senior engineers or some people
Okay.
who can actually solve the problems, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened is that while implementing initial stuff, don't expect like everything will be smoother. People like say companies say, okay, it will be, we have hired obviously we have hired people, it's going to be all open. No, at the beginning it's not like it never been like everything will go well from the first day one. There'll be problems, there'll be challenges, which is the pure DevOps is the
Mm-hmm.
continuous process to improve things. It's not a one-time job. People think it's a one-time job, companies is a one-time job. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. It's never been a one-time job. It's a continuous process. That's why you see the infinity sign in DevOps, right? That has a meaning,
Mm-hmm.
man. That's because it's an infinite process. You cannot just think that one software deployment you did and it's going to run forever without any problem, without bugs or without anything. Things will go break, things will be problem, but it has to be there. That the process is to find out the problem and fix it. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
another DevOps thing is the all the DevOps people, the companies of the thing, it's about the tools. As I said in the beginning also, it's not
Mm.
just about the tool. You need the proper communication. The DevOps engineer has to communicate very properly between all the team members, even if he's a support engineer, even if he's the CEO of the company. You have to represent all that properly. That that interpersonal skill also has to be there. Okay? Then
Okay.
and there are another problem I see is the choice of tools, because
Mm.
think about the databases, how many options you have. I mean, there is Oracle, there is PostgreSQL, there is MySQL, right? Similarly in DevOps also, for single thing, for example, infra as a code, okay, you have a requirement to automatically create the
Mm.
infrastructure based on requirement. Just even think about that. There is Terraform, there is CloudFormation, there is Pulumi, there is XYZ other tools. So since there is so many tools, there's another problem is the choosing which tool to use and which not to use. My
Mm.
rule of thumb in this course, in this case, is that go with the category lead, because that's why
Okay.
people trust it. That's where people invested their time. There has been infinite problem, but there is solution also. That's why people are
Mm.
liking it. So always
Mm.
go for the category, unless you have a kind of a very strict requirement of using only one particular tool. But if you're open to using tools, always go for the tools category. For example, if someone asks me the configuration as a code you have to do, there is 100 server, you have to push one file to 100 servers, then I'll say, okay, I'm going to go to think about what is a perfect tool for configuration code, and say the category is Ansible. I will go to Ansible, I will write a playbook, and I will just execute that. That's how I
Okay.
should make my choice. So that should be
Oh,
the challenges and the possible solutions.
okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you. So as you
Sure.
mentioned CI/CD, so how you can implement this CI/CD pipelines effectively, including tools and best practices? Can you share some input on that?
Definitely, definitely. Okay, so about the CI/CD tools, okay, there are many choices. And by the way, before going to CI/CD, let's like what are the tools and all. Let's go to understand what is the CI/CD complete. I explained a bit, but let's go a bit more deep dive. Okay, CI, the
Hmm.
term itself is a continuous integration, but continuous integration
Okay.
what? Think about
Mm.
what is talking about the continuous. It's a continuous integration of process where a develop like there is a source code. Source code means a Git repo, for example. Now that Git repo can be in the GitHub, that Git repo can be in the GitLab, that Git repo can be in the Bitbucket, anywhere. Okay, it has to be a Git repo. That code, the moment the code get changed, every single commit that getting every single changes that are getting committed, that has to
Mm.
be properly thoroughly tested. And
Okay.
before even testing, just leave out testing, you have to
Hmm.
build it, because you might
Hmm.
have made code changes which you are lazy person, you forgot to test it, and
Hmm.
there is a problem that the problem is
Hmm.
that the code even is not starting or the binary node
Hmm.
is building, whatever it
Hmm.
is, that has to be in the runnable state. If it's not
Hmm.
runnable state, quickly whoever make the changes, we call it blame. Okay, so whoever make
Hmm.
the change is to blame, and that person who is a committer should automatically get a mail, maybe
Hmm.
including the release manager or says the
Hmm.
lead or the senior to the person also, that this problem happened in the fix. The developer has to fix it and it's runnable. Then is the testing phase. Okay, then there should be unit test that should run against the codes to make sure whatever changes happen, that is functional. Okay, then there
Okay.
should be this is all CI phase. We're not going to CD. Now
Hmm.
in the CI phase itself, you have a runnable binary or runnable code, whatever it is. I will say it's better to have a runnable binary, because if it's a
Hmm.
binary, then you can run it on any virtual machine. Okay,
Okay.
of course,
Okay.
when the moment I'm saying binary, the binary has to be a targeted one. Okay, what kind
Okay.
of targets? Because Linux have a say the CPU architecture that you're going to
Yes.
run, or say the
Yes.
particular binary OS also run. So based on that requirement, you should make the binary, and I mean,
Mm.
you must have 100 VMs, or you must have thousands of containers. Whatever it is a
Yes.
container, then you have to build a container image. It's a virtual
Yes.
machine, then you have to run a runnable executable binary. So that
Yes.
final output you have to generate. Okay, then come to the
Mm.
deployment phase, where as a
Mm.
rule of thumb or it's a good practice, you should not directly deploy. There has to be a
Okay.
QA setup or pre-production setup
Mm.
where it has to be tested thoroughly for 1 or 2 days or maybe 1 week. If it's a kind of
Mm.
uh, good solution or it's a big solution, there has to be
Mm.
very good testing also. And once the test
Mm.
happening, the release manager or the QA lead has to approve that particular change. Then that change
Mm.
should go to the production or maybe people, whatever is the next phase of release. Like So
Okay.
normally what happened is a staging. After staging, the code get tested by the developers and all that. Then that code
Mm,
move to the QA server, a QA solution infrastructure. Then QA people test it, and then upon the
okay.
QA approval, that change go to the production. That entire
Okay.
thing we are calling the CICD pipe, because it's a kind of
Okay.
pipeline going one by one, right?
Yes.
That's the
Yes. Yes.
the
Okay.
best
Great.
practices in this is to make sure don't over engineer. People tend to over engineer things. Don't, whatever is
Mm,
actually absolutely required, just have that only. If you think about the
okay.
tools right now for the source, I already told GitHub, Bitbucket and all this thing, GitLab.
Mm,
For example, building so the CI tools itself, like
mhm,
every all these GitHub repositories, Git repositories have their own CI/CD tool. For example, GitHub have the GitHub, I think they have GitLab CI/CD is there, GitHub Action is there, Bitbucket pipeline is there. So if you think of the
mm,
AWS itself, they have the
mm,
code commit plus code pipeline, code build. So
mm,
every provider have their own tool. We have a lot of choices. But what
mm.
I will suggest to any people actually starting to learn all this, don't go with the provider specific, go with the individual as an open source solution. What are the open source
Okay.
solution? There is Jenkins, which is open source.
Okay.
You first start with something open source and kind of non-biased or non kind of platform specific, so you can run it anywhere, absolutely wherever you want to. Start with that, and
Mm,
then if you have a requirement, for example, your code is hosted in GitHub, maybe your actual solution hosted in the Azure or maybe AWS, whatever it is. If you want, since your code is in the GitHub, then you can go and use the GitHub Actions. So based on the
o-
requirement, you should choose your kind of tool, and don't over engineer. That's the most part.
okay.
The final
Okay.
build has to be go to an artifact repository where it is more
Okay.
distributable to other places. So small
Mm,
things, like you don't have to overcomplicate things. Just put whatever absolutely required. Have that part only, and don't over it. That should be the requirement. And minimum
okay.
that the build happening, if there is an error, you should keep the log, because if there is an
Okay.
error and you don't keep a
Mm,
log, how can you root cause analysis, right? Because to find
mm,
a root cause error, you need the logs. Where exactly,
mm.
which line or which is the error code, or what is the particular code that is generating the error, that has to be there. So that you must keep a log, and just don't keep it to yourself as a DevOps engineer
Mhm.
or CS
Okay.
engineer. So you should attach the logs in an email,
Mm,
or say if you have
mm,
a Slack or something, when you are
mm.
doing using, let's say, automatically posting that error, attach the log also, so they can analyze the
Okay.
log and they can fix. That has to be there in the CI/CD.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for great explanation. So my next question is Kubernetes. So what led you to become proficient in Kubernetes, and how has it transformed the way you deploy and manage applications?
Okay, so I have a very painful history. Okay, so what happened with the VMs? VMs, VMs. The problem is that VMs need what maintenance. Okay,
Mm,
and I don't even leave the maintenance. Okay, you have a
mm,
VM. That means you have to maintain the patching. You have to maintain the security of the VMs. You have to maintain the upgrades. You have to maintain what not. I mean, there's a big list.
mm,
You have to maintain the
mm.
system. Like system can be overutilized, underutilized, and all that, right? The
Yeah.
problem with that also, when you update the starting time, for example, the starting time of the VMs, it's more 4 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute. But
Mm-hmm,
if you have a Kubernetes cluster up and running, and a
mm-hmm,
pod, you want to start up
mm-hmm,
quickly a pod, a service, it takes fraction
mm-hmm,
of second or few seconds only. So uptime
mm-hmm,
is no or less. So there are
mm.
many such reasons where we, as a DevOps engineer, and of course there's a requirement from the client side also, that they
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure the downtime is less. They want to kind of scale in a very rapid growth and all. Those cases, Kubernetes comes very handy. And uh, for example, you have a like, of course, by the way, Kubernetes also run in VMs only, but most of the cases, cloud provider managing those VMs. We also don't worry these days with the VMs. Okay, we worry
Mm.
most of the Kubernetes solution. Also, they're managing the certified solution. We most cases only worry about the pods that you're running there. That means our business logic and our
Okay.
configuration that we're doing there. And what
Mm-hmm.
happening due to that, we are not focusing on patching or anything. If suppose one server need patching, we simply just replace the machine. Okay, because we don't care
Okay.
about, because it's not the running code. Because when you run, another thing is that when you run the code, that code
Mm-hmm.
has to be very specific to the particular virtual machine. Okay, that has to be
Okay.
Docker install. that has to be, or maybe
mm,
Docker, for example, any other container runtime install, that has to be enough space, and there is many requirements. Okay, but the moment is Kubernetes, it's automatically take care of that. I mean, auto
okay.
scaling also in Kubernetes, you can just integrate with the cloud service providers, and whenever
Mm,
required, it will automatically scale the number of instances whatever is need, and if
okay.
it's not needed anymore, it will automatically terminate. So
Okay.
of course, the main requirement for us, it was the scaling. It was the kind of how quickly, if any problem happens, you can solve it. Because, for example,
Mm,
in a VM, you're running something, a problem happened. Replacing a VM is still a big problem, big pain. Okay,
yes.
but how easy it is in the Kubernetes? Just kill the pod or
Yes.
replace the pod. That's it. Your problem solved. So there are many
Okay.
benefits that Kubernetes bring to you. I
Mm-hmm.
personally like the scaling benefits and how quickly you can revert back if any issues are there.
Mm-hmm.
Even for example, rollbacks. You do
Mm-hmm.
deploy changes to virtual machine, and if something goes wrong, that's a nightmare for you because rollback is a
Mm-hmm.
big problem in the case of the virtual machines, static virtual machine.
Yeah.
But in case of Kubernetes, it's just one command. Kubernetes roll back
Mm,
to particular image, and it's very quickly will roll back to the particular image. So see how
okay.
quickly we can utilize different features in Kubernetes. We can scale it, we can or we can roll back the changes quickly if any problem happen. We can have the auto health checks. We can have the kind of you can even have the hybrid setup, by the way. So if you just run
Mm,
on the VMs, you can do hybrid.
mm,
You can, but that's very tricky. But if it's Kubernetes, there are many solutions. For example, Kubernetes Anywhere or Kubernetes, just like many natively Kubernetes support the hybrid. You can run some
mm,
instances in your local
mm,
say data center, and some in the cloud. But VMs, it's a
mm.
very problematic to kind of combine all. Okay, so there
Okay.
the Kubernetes bring many benefit. Okay, and of course,
Okay.
Kubernetes open source. It brings also the security kind of an add-on. So there are many communities
Mm,
working, many paid solution, non-paid solutions, free solution,
mm,
open solution available for improving the
mm.
security also. It gives you the
Okay.
flexibility, it gives you the kind of thing that you need. So you focus mainly on the business logic, the coding part,
Mm-hmm.
and leave the scaling, leave the. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
of course, you have to do kind of configure everything, but it's a one-time
Mm.
job. You don't have to worry every time. No, it's just one-time job. You
Okay.
set up the scaling, you set up the kind of configuration properly. It will take some
Mm,
time, say a week or maybe a month to actually have that particular setup ready. But that's it.
mm.
You don't have to think or worry about 1 year or 2 year unless there is a Kubernetes
Yeah.
upgrade comes up. Kubernetes upgrade is
Yes.
another
Yes.
plane, but that's again
Mhm.
one time. You do it one time,
Okay.
all goes well. If not goes well, you what there is when doing the Kubernetes upgrade also. The best thing is to
Mhm.
actually have a new cluster with the newer version and run the
Mm.
solutions there, and all the things are these days infra as a code, right? So quickly
Okay.
do all that and move the traffic
Mhm.
chain. If any problem happen, you can always have the option to give it back. So all this
Okay.
benefit that Kubernetes is bringing, I think that's making it a choice for every DevOps. I mean, all the big, small, big, or even the enterprise team also to adapt Kubernetes. So that's what I can
Okay.
say about Kubernetes systems.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for great explanation. So,
Welcome.
what advice you give to someone who is new to Kubernetes and who wants to get started with the container orchestration? So, what advice you can give?
So I will say, don't jump to the complexities first. First, basic thing you should learn about the containerization. How to, so you have application, for example, that how to container it. Then how after
Mm-hmm.
the containerization part you know, then think about
Mm-hmm.
how to host on Kubernetes. Now before hosting to the Kubernetes, you have to learn about the Kubernetes. In Kubernetes,
Okay.
okay, but before even starting with the cloud service, most of people know, but I'll just remind them. There is a two particular
Mm.
tools that I personally like. There is a Minikube and Kind. You can
Okay.
install these tools and you can create a localized cluster, then
Okay.
learn about the next step, which is the pods, then the
Mm.
services, then deployment, then configuration management, all this basic stuff. Any Kubernetes course, basically I personally like the Udemy courses where Bhumshan Mohammad's course is still the most famous course, and I also learned from
Mm.
this. So
Mm.
just follow that course, learn the basics, and then you
Mm.
jump to the advanced steps. Okay, basic
Okay.
things first. Don't jump to the advanced say, honor jobs or cron jobs, all those things. No,
Mm.
first learn the basic
Yes.
how to run simple pods, how to run simple say cluster setup, how to run system simple kind of deployment. Then think of okay, there seems to be learn about the horizontal pod scaling, the cluster auto scaling, and all that. So do a systematic step by step. First the baby step, start from basics, and
Mm.
then move to the advanced. That should be your learning
Okay.
journey.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So again, security is important for cluster
Yes.
and all. So how do you approach Kubernetes security and monitoring to ensure the stability and security of your clusters? If you have any input on that.
Sure. So in Kubernetes particularly, there is a particular dedicated service called role-based access control, in short RBAC. So if you are
Mhm,
planning to secure your cluster, you have to
mhm,
make sure the RBAC, the role-based access control, is properly there. Whoever need what access, that access has to be defined using the RBAC. That's the first step.
mhm,
And then think about the
mhm,
as an images part. Okay, the images that
mhm,
you're supposed to run or running, you have to make sure the images are properly thoroughly scanned. Don't run any image that you can find in the internet. No, make sure to scan.
okay,
There is a SINK tool is there. There are many tools actually available. SINK, scanner, auditor.
mhm,
I think there is a many tools available. Even the say AWS own say this
mhm,
elastic storage, the container storage registry. There also container registry. You can have the scanning facility these days. So there is many ways to scan your image. Scan image, then only you do kind of release that to your cluster, and make
okay,
sure that when you have cluster, then you're patching that properly. Or if you have a minor upgrades or major upgrades, you do that because this upgrade is happening for a reason, right? There may be some problems, some bugs, some security issues. That also you should periodically upgrade or update to make sure
mhm,
that your cluster is secure. That you have to make sure.
okay. Thank you, thank you. So, with your extensive experience, what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue career in cloud, DevOps, or Kubernetes?
I will say if like there the thing is that many freshers think of joining. Okay, let's talk of the fresher part. Fresher think that DevOps is actually a very, of course, because everyone saying DevOps is good, DevOps is making money. People think, okay, let's go to DevOps. No, in DevOps actually there is a bit hard for freshers because
Okay,
DevOps kind of have a very hidden requirement that you need to be from a development background to
okay.
excel in the DevOps field. Okay, you see the tools, the system developments in Linux part, shell scripting,
Mhm,
infra as a code, configuration, all these things require some kind of prior knowledge. The CICD part also. So everywhere, even the
mhm,
monitoring part, all the cloud part, everywhere, you see, they're kind of expecting you to have a prior knowledge. If you're a
mhm,
fresher thinking about joining DevOps engineer, maybe
mhm,
associate DevOps and all that at the beginning, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's going to be extremely hard because you have to prove you have all the knowledge. You have to prove that you have the skills. You have to prove that you have the tool knowledge you have. Then you might get a chance, and that too, the competition is extremely high, and there you have to show up.
okay,
Now, best way I can
okay.
suggest is that certify, have the demo projects ready, then only you should be able to. But the people who are from the development background is actually a bit easier for them. You already have a development
Mhm,
background, you know the SDLC software development lifecycle flow, you
mhm,
know how to monitor, you know how to deploy, and all the tools and
mhm,
technology that we talked about. You have all the skills,
mhm,
then you can come to the DevOps suite, the cloud and DevOps suite. Now,
mhm,
the important part here is that uh, it's that it's a field that is keep changing, right? Like 5 years back, the tools that I utilized, like for now, what I'm utilizing, and next 5 years gonna change. So if you
mhm,
want to be in the cloud and DevOps, not any field, okay, just think of the programming field also, you must be updating yourself. Without
mhm.
keep updating yourself, it's going to be extremely hard. You
Yes,
cannot
yes.
survive. You have to
Yeah.
update. There will be. It's not like DevOps changing. No, it's the tools
Mhm.
that get used in the DevOps. It's changing. It's about the methodologies. Let's say 10 years back, we never thought of microservices. Okay, at least I
Mhm,
never thought about using microservices. 10 years back, I
mhm.
never thought about the serverless technologies. But now
Okay.
all these technologies, tools is becoming part of the DevOps. As a DevOps
Mhm,
engineer, you should know about the serverless technologies, how to build, how
mhm.
to deploy. You should know about the kind of say infra as a code. You should know about the
Okay.
configuration. You should know about the containerization Kubernetes. So all these things become a requirement, core requirement if you want to excel in the cloud industry. Now there is a
Okay.
misconception that okay, for next 5 years DevOps will go away. No, software. I think 10 years back people said development go away. No, it never happened. It increased. So in future also
Yes.
cloud and DevOps engineer it will be there. It's just that
Mhm.
tools, technologies, the methodology is going to be different. Of course, there will
Okay.
be competition because there is no field without competition these days, right? If you talk
Yes.
about any field, there is competition. But
Mhm,
you're not programmed to fear the competition. Of course, there will be initial
mhm,
fear. That you're programmed
mhm,
to uh, learn from the process, do work for the companies, and aim for a better. Just don't much focus on the competition, but focus on your
mhm,
own. knowledge improvement, own skill improvement, and you approach to more people, make more networks, approach
Mhm.
to attend different events, and you will see you will
Mhm.
find better opportunity. That should be your goal.
Mhm.
Not focus on the competition, but more on yourself and your skill building. That
Mhm.
should be done.
Okay. So, how do you stay updated with the latest trends and technologies?
Yes, yes. So I mean, I don't believe me. I had more than 1,000 Chrome tabs open in my tab right now. Why the reason purchased the MacBook, but my old laptop was dying. It cannot support that. So that means what I'm trying to say is that I read countless articles. I watch videos who are more senior than me, who are making doing good content. I can learn from them from Udemy,
Mhm.
from YouTube, from
Mhm.
say LinkedIn Learning. So wherever you can learn things, very interesting topics like Kubernetes, some
Mhm.
topics, or say containerization, or say your behavioral
Mhm.
improvement, the communication skill, every skills matter, right? So all these things, whatever you're lacking or you want to learn more, go to this kind of sites, learning platforms, and learn it to improve your skills. That's one way to get updated. Additional thing is like you go to different events and meet the senior people. For example, I'm going to AWS. I was talking to Sam, right? That I'm going to the AWS community. I mean, sorry, AWS Summit. Why? Because I'm going to not just become a speaker, but I want
Mhm.
to make more interested in the learning from different people, from the business perspective, from the more senior, say, architect people, their perspective,
Mhm.
and network with them and learn. Because many people have very good knowledge, many knowledge, but they will not share publicly for many good reasons. Of course, they might have
Mhm.
constraint for their company. But you go and meet, it's like meet the people, have a lunch and dinner with them, or maybe just walk with them, and they are
Mhm.
so generous to share their knowledge with you that you
Mhm.
cannot just sit in a Kolkata or say my home. I cannot expect that
Mhm.
to happen if I don't go to Bangalore or don't go to
Mhm.
out of India and achieve that. So that is one of the
Mhm.
most important part. People miss that. Community event not to grab the goodies. No, I mean I go to
Mhm.
community events and never even touch it. People give me that's different fact, but I don't go
Mhm.
and stand in the line to get something. I go to
Mhm.
events, I talk with them as much people possible, and this day, because people know me, it's become more easier to approach people, and they come to me,
Yes.
and I go to people. That's the benefit. But
Yes.
if that ever happen, I go to countless events, and I meet with countless people, and that countless people is now part of my network, become my good friends with me. We share our views,
Mhm.
we talk daily with those people. It is a journey.
Mhm.
It's a learning journey. Okay. So what
Mhm.
I would say, learn from the articles, blogs, videos. Learn from
Mhm.
your peer, your co-engineer, or see if you're a student, then learn
Mhm.
from your other student. Learn from the
Mhm.
teacher. If you're professional, go to different technical events like just like the one out they told you, the AWS Summit or AWS Community Days, or even the AWS group meetups. Also, talk with people, get the learning from them. If I'm a senior engineer, 12 experience, I have countless stories to share. I have countless knowledge in different tools to share, but it's not
Mhm.
possible to share everything in a video or kind of writing. We have restriction, but if I'm talking with person to person, I can share more knowledge. The tips and tricks that
Mhm.
I use to get more than 10,000 USD job, you cannot
Mhm.
write it anywhere in the world. How to grab this kind of opportunity is that I only
Mhm.
know how to approach people. I only know how to target those companies. I only know how to get the job. It's not easy. Never, nothing is easy, right? If you want to target
Yes.
something, it's going to be tougher. But you need to have the skills. You need to have the approachability. You need to like, we work very hard to make the list of the companies first, then talk with
Mhm.
the approach the senior recruiters, approach the senior engineers, talk with them, have a if sometimes a very funny story. One of the opportunities I had,
Yeah.
I actually do a paid booking for a consulting. Not my I'm
Mhm.
not like they're paying me, but I did a paid consulting just to talk with that person and found out their company
Mhm.
has a requirement. I said, can I be a
Mhm.
candidate for them? They already know
Mhm.
I'm good at Kubernetes or infra as a code or say
Mhm.
AWS. Okay, Sandip, and that's how I got a very good amount job also. So you need to
Mhm.
have tricks, whatever it is, tip, you call it tip, tricks,
Mhm.
or maybe different way to approach people. You have to utilize and kind of grab some
Mhm.
opportunities. Those things you
Yeah.
cannot just sometimes you understand the video, right? Or like-
Yeah.
so you do all those things, and I think that's good enough to make sure you're updated. That should be good.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, what are some exciting projects or initiatives you are currently working on, and what challenges you are facing? If you want to share, please share us.
Sure. So, say challenges will be always there. Otherwise, challenge there is no fun. If something happening very
Mm.
easily, I will get bored. and I will anybody will get bored if they have the enthusiasm to do. So
Mhm.
I do things which are challenging. I make videos. You already know I have a YouTube channel. I make video cloud DevOps
Mhm.
programming. Go series is running. Then advanced DevOps. The cloud native CN series is coming. So there are many projects I have planned, including very
Mhm.
good projects. Even the Go projects I'm going to release maybe next week all together. Like the 4 videos
Mhm.
pending. I will release them. Okay. I was even last night around 12 a.m. till I worked on and make these things ready for them.
Okay.
So there are
Okay.
things happening. I'm going to different, even for example, summit.
Mm.
Then I'm going to many such communities in the future also. I'm coming to many cities, meeting people directly, getting
Mm.
their ideas, getting their roadblocks. The problem is that I have not enough time. I mean, if I'm working
Mm.
in my freelancing projects, my client
Mm.
projects, then I have to travel on that. So I think the problem most of is the time. I have to deliver things. I have deadlines also, and then I have to
Mhm.
travel and do all these things. That's a problematic thing. But
Mhm.
that I'm managing from last 5 6 years. Right? So I'm very sure I'll be managing. It's going to be challenging, but I'll be able to manage that thing. And of course, learning journey in not so distant future. I do have a plan to maybe start a training plus development company. I started a company which is
Mm.
purely development, but I want to start
Mm.
another company which is more of the training part, so that I can utilize that as a kind of a training. And I
Mm.
might partner with very good friends, tech friends of mine over
Mm.
different states and all, or maybe different country altogether. I don't know, but that's just another plan of the company. Again, all are kind of a planning, not any finalization yet.
Mhm.
But maybe sooner or later, I will build something great for other people where they can
Mm.
learn, they can share the knowledge, they can just excel in what
Okay.
they do. That's the plan right
Yes.
now.
Yes. True, true. All the best for your future. So
Thank
one
you.
thing, how do you balance your life? Because you are doing so many things, attending
Oh,
seminar in India, out of India, recording your sessions on YouTube channel, and working freelancer, and your personal life also. So you have, mashallah, little daughter. She is so pretty. So how
yeah,
you
thank
manage?
you. So yeah, the thing is that you have to, I mean, we don't have a way, or so we don't have options. Because if you want to grow in your life, think about
Mhm.
you don't. I mean, I'm not born with a silver spoon or a golden spoon, right? So I didn't have
Yeah.
my proper house. So I built many houses. I built my, all this vehicles, like all this thing. I'm very proud of these days. But this never happened in one day. It took me more than 12 years to build things, right? And if
Yes.
I
Yes.
have been not so hardworking person, I could have achieved
Mhm.
nothing. All the things that
Mhm.
I've achieved, you see them in very nice background, nice tool that I have,
Mhm.
nice laptops I have. It all has to be some efforts, right? And
Mhm.
I from the beginning knew I don't have the luxury, so I have to work hard.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have built a mindset from the beginning itself. I have to work hard,
Mhm.
and of
Okay.
course, managing things is going to be very tough. So when I
Mhm.
the story, there has been days that for 2 nights I didn't sleep when I was working as a
Oh.
like, before marriage. Okay, so I had
Mhm.
to deliver something, and that was a
Mhm.
super critical application. I didn't sleep
Mhm.
2 days, maybe barely sleeping like 1 hour sleep, then wake up and started working. That kind of way.
Mhm.
But all these things helped me to gain more clients, make more money, and life is better for many good reasons. But yeah,
Yes.
managing time is a tough. So what is my strategy? My strategy, prioritize, because you need to prioritize. You cannot just lower prioritize things you're doing
Mhm.
first and then important thing being done. No,
Mhm.
you make your own priority list and make sure your family is the first priority once you're married and you have
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
So my
Yes. Yes.
first priority always the family, and you need to have a very understanding family. They has to know that I am doing which is good for their future only, and the more I
Yeah.
grow, of course, is their fault. They have to make the understanding with them. They will be
Yes.
most of
Yes.
the cases okay with it, and of course, makes your Saturday evening, Sunday evening, which I
Yeah.
get actually bit. Last night also, my wife got angry. So why you are not in home? You're doing session and you go.
Yeah.
Those things will be there. Just say sorry and move on. Okay, you cannot fight
Yeah.
on that part. And make sure at
But
least one day you're giving, maybe evening you're going out with the family. Make them happy. Okay, that's your first priority.
mhm.
Then
Yes. Yes.
make sure you in your work, it's not the
Mhm.
social part. I would say if you're completely social person, it's different. If you're just influencer social completely, or if you are making out of the courses, your life is depend on the courses and all that, then you should focus only fully on that. But people like
Mhm.
you, me, we had the full time, working for client projects. For us, it's not.
Mhm.
We don't have the luxury to only focus on the social part. We have to work on projects.
Yes.
We have our main money source is the projects. So
Yes.
that's the
Yes.
reason after like, the work priority. Our focus always should be delivering project on time, making things sure that they are happy, clients are happy. If the clients are happy, our all things will go happy. The money,
Yes,
because we have a lot of costs, right? You have to pay
yes,
insurance, you have to pay house rent, or maybe maintenance. Then you have the electricity
yes,
bill, or AC bill, whatnot, right? So make
mm,
things your client is happy, which is the your main source of income. Unless you are individual, you have many source of income, you make your focus on that. Okay. After that,
mm,
you need to build your profile properly. The more
yes,
better profile you have in that LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter, or maybe YouTube, the better branding you have, the better branding you have, people are gonna believe on you. The more people believe on you, the more projects or more opportunities you're going to get. It's all linked
mm,
together. It's not different matter. It's all
yeah,
linked. The people know you better, the people believe you better. Sure way you're going to get a opportunity, very best
mm,
opportunity in the time. So think about
yeah,
all that and then do it. And time, it's all about priorities. Again, I'm saying I will emphasis on it. Make sure you
mm,
prioritize the time. Family first priority. Your health should be next priority,
mm,
which I neglected
mm,
from like, at the
mm,
initial days. Now I'm facing the
mm,
issues. Getting also, more than 30, you will
mm,
see the things what is happening in the body. So if you are younger, make sure you from the beginning itself. Okay, it's going to be a tough for you first of all, but at least once you get 2 or 3 more experience, focus back on your body, your well-being, and then of course
mm,
your career and all that. But
okay,
all in priority. Okay, you have to think and you have to decide for yourself what is the best priority, prioritize that, and you move forward. That is the way to,
oh,
like, it's not time management, it's actually your
okay,
priority. That should be the particular term. Like, people
okay,
get confused in the
thank,
beginning, but I also don't think about the time. You will always have, you have time to watch Netflix, you don't have time to do work or study. We have that,
yes,
right? So make your
yes,
priorities right and everything will go happen.
thank you, thank you. So my last question for you is because time is passing so fast, and I know you are a very busy person, and it is quickly about to 1 hour, and your explanation is very good. So what do you envision for the future of cloud, DevOps, and Kubernetes, and how do you see yourself contributing to that future?
So what I'll say, cloud, I mean, even 5 years or 10 years back also, there's not much services, right? But people
Mhm,
believe that cloud going to be a
mhm,
billion-dollar market, and it happened. Is cloud become a
mhm,
billion, DevOps field become a billion-dollar market, and people kind
mhm,
of crazily hiring. Okay, even in the
mhm,
recession, you see people with the right skill never get
mhm,
laid off. Even they get laid off, just next day
mhm,
altogether they're gonna get a new job, or next month they will get a
mhm,
better job, better opportunity. All that matters in cloud and DevOps are in tech field. It's the right
mhm,
skills you have. If you have the right skill,
mhm,
you will definitely will be unbeatable.
mhm,
I in last 12 years, already more than 12 past, I not a single day cared about because Thai kuch nahi nahi. He didn't had anything to begin with. But whenever I have the things, I believe on myself, okay, because I am very well
mhm,
skilled in cloud, DevOps, the programming
mhm,
also, and every whatever the field that is, I have a variety of skills. Like kahin na kahin,
mhm,
wherever I will find something about that. Okay, so that
mhm,
confidence that you develop and get more well skilled. If you're well skilled, all field will work. Now there will
okay.
be innovations, and see the AI came like anything, and every single service, every single cloud, DevOps, everywhere, the AI included. Previously, it was XYZ service. Now, Gen AI that service, like the Gen AI get added to
Mhm,
the name of the particular service.
mhm,
So what
mhm,
happening? There will be innovations, just like the AI, artificial intelligence,
mhm,
this, GPT, the Chat GPT. This kind of things will come and go, but something if it's coming, people are adapting, it's getting viral, and
mhm,
that means that you have a value. That means you should focus on learning that. That means you should cash
mhm.
on that. You should monetize that
Yes,
particular knowledge. So
yes.
don't just fear out of it. Never fear. Just think about it as a part of
Mhm,
opportunity. It's not fearing
mhm,
thing, it's an opportunity. Many people I
mhm,
know, like kind of a person in Ahmedabad who have zero tech knowledge, right?
mhm,
Written countless kind of an article and is making millions of money, and says you don't have a technology, Sandeep bhai, kya? It's not required. There is a chat GPT. So you have to think of, even if you don't have the skills, or even if you learn the skill and then utilize the skill to make money. That should be your focus.
mhm,
And of course, in
mhm,
cloud DevOps field, there will be many innovation. That means that you have to stay updated with the things. You have to learn things. You have to kind of hands on this, and you have to utilize that skill in your projects. Then only it will make sense, and then you will be in your profession. Nobody can beat you in that case. Okay, so
mhm,
all I'm saying that in profession, whatever you are, cloud, DevOps, or programming, there will be new things coming up always. That's the law of the kind of nature, you can say, for tech people, that things will change. You have to just adapt into the change. That should be it.
Yes.
It's still there. I mean, it happened. It was in 10 years back, the cloud DevOps programming.
Mhm.
It will. It's currently it is booming, right? In future
Mhm.
also it will be there. Again, the change will be inevitable, but change is about tools and technologies. You have to just adapt.
Mhm.
That's it. That's what I can.
Okay. Yeah, that's you said correctly. AI is too much. That's why Oracle company has changed his latest version
Yes.
23C to 23 AI. They have changed the naming recently.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that is the biggest thing happen in AI innovation, because earlier they declared 23C, C for cloud. Now they say
Hmm.
that 23 AI. So they have so much AI
Yeah.
implementation in a new version which is going on actually. And thank you very much for your time, and it's lovely session, one of the best session I have.
Thank you.
And thanks for your time. And one thing I miss actually, which cloud we should learn, or new guys should learn?
Yeah, but people will see me biased because of AWS. You know, people say, "Oh, you're suggesting." But see, why I become AWS officer, why I started AWS. Of course, when I was considering trying with other cloud, I see other clouds still confusing, not documented, and thousand problems. Okay, and then okay, I found okay, AWS it will start because the client giving me the choice. You go for any cloud, what you are preferring, because that client, I was the backend engineer, and he gave me the choice. I was looking for solution. I was looking for resources. The most resources, the easiest way to get started is actually find like AWS. Okay. So I
Okay.
will of course suggest people to, if you are not sure where to start with AWS. Make sure your mental
Mhm.
model is ready about the services and tools.
Yeah.
Because you go to other cloud, you'll see it's looking like same only. Just that the way you
Yes.
interact with it, the name is different. But behind the scenes are
Mhm.
same. So learn from any
Mhm.
cloud, preferably AWS, and just get started
Mhm.
with that. And you'll sooner or later learn it, and then you can move
Mhm.
to other cloud. Become a multi-cloud engineer, a multi-cloud
Mhm.
architect.
Yeah.
Who's blocking it? That's even better. Like
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why Oracle has collaborated with Azure. So now OCI
yeah, yeah,
Cloud and Azure is partner. So this is the era of multi-skill person. So
yeah,
that's why IT person should not be stopped learning. He
yeah.
should
It
be
should not be stopped.
multi-skill. Then he can
It should not
survive
be
in
like
the
I'm a AWS developer. I don't like Azure. Don't be that. You should
industry.
be learning about Azure. You should be getting more opportunities there also. It's
Yes,
a
yes, yes,
multi-cloud era, and you should be multi-cloud.
yes, 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 yes. Okay, so thanks a lot, brother. Thanks for joining this session. Thanks for giving your time on weekend. I know you are a very busy person,
No,
and
no, it's
hope
okay.
we see you meet personally in any conference.
Definitely,
And
definitely,
also, I want to invite you again whenever you are free for
definitely.
discuss technologies. So thank you, brother. You, if you want, you can leave. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everyone. Bye then. See you soon.
Bye.
Next session. Bye.
Okay, so he is Sandeep Das. We had done so many discussion about cloud, DevOps, and Kubernetes. So I hope this session will be helpful for you guys if you want to adopting DevOps, cloud, and Kubernetes. So it will give an idea. So that's it from my side. So as you know, our channel is AhmadTech, and YouTube handle is AhmadTech91. So please like, share, and subscribe so that many people can get the benefit from our channel, that is AhmadTech. And that's it from my side. Happy weekend. Bye.